I think we're live.
We don't care what R. Kelly did.
Did I say anything racist this time?
You better get out of here, honky.
And now for something completely different.
I got news, man.
Well, two honks and Kim just messing around. You'll never know what they talk about on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. You might hear something about the NBA. Maybe they'll just make your day on two honks and Kevin. It's sports and life and family too. Let's all listen to two honks and a Kevin. Yeehaw! Just crap my pants.
All right. I have the power. They're all on mute, so I'm just going to talk the whole show. It is June 9th. Slowly unmuting them. There we go.
One at a time.
There you go.
Richard with that new intro.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You guys like it all right? We're good?
That was great.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when you sent us that text, for those that don't know, Richard sent us a text a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was last week. I think he kind of alluded to the fact that he was messing around with it. Do you enjoy doing stuff like that?
If I have time, yeah, I'm more than happy to do it. It's really, when you get 2 kids and stuff to do. It's
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, when I have time, I do.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's Amy doing now?
Man, she's tickling my toes, man.
I am not.
What kind of freaky stuff is going on over there?
Get ready
Hey,
for
6-9 day.
Hey, whatever you do, I don't. I mean, some people enjoy that, so
Yeah.
that's right. Like,
I'm about to- I think Kevin's going to be ending the show early.
all right. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and fire this guy up here. Let me share my screen with you guys.
The wheel is back.
Yeah, there we go. This week we got the wheel going. Had a few things. All right, starting out NBA playoffs.
Oh, man. Get all that NBA talk out of the way, huh?
Yeah, let's get the NBA talk out of the way. I think I was pretty excited about the playoffs until it dawned on me that Brooklyn was just gonna win. It's just whatever.
Yeah, but we didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't we though?
I don't know. Nobody was. I mean, I feel like nobody was saying that they were the favorites.
No.
You know,
Brooklyn wasn't the favorites?
huh?
That Brooklyn wasn't the favorites?
I don't know. I don't
Not
really
at the
feel like
beginning of the
anyone.
playoffs, they weren't.
I think we were just waiting to see if the chemistry would be there, but I don't think that there was never any chemistry. It doesn't matter when you have the 2 of the greatest playing at the same time out of the 3. Just think they haven't played together still.
Yeah.
I know.
Still.
guys-
So what happens if Harden's in?
Do you guys maybe Blake Griffin was sandbagging in Detroit?
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hold
I get it.
on. You know what? That's the one thing. I'm glad you said that because that's the one thing that Simmons kind of brought up on that podcast. We were all talking about a podcast earlier, but there's something to that, right? The fact that, listen, you're in Detroit, you were in LA, you're a middle of the road team. I think Blake Griffin's always went out there and gave effort, but then you get traded to a really, or get picked up or whatever the situation was, to a squad that's a little bit younger, that's faster, that's cooler, that has, yeah, of course, it's going to make
you got your juice back.
Dude, he started 10 feet.
Because when he got traded, he got traded to Detroit. He didn't want to get traded. And the way he found out was kind of shitty too, wasn't it?
True.
I think I remember that.
Yes.
So how much effort are you going to give Detroit when you know they're not going to win?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I remember sending you guys a stat or some video Blake Griffin hadn't dunked since 2019, and then he gets traded to Brooklyn, and then all of a sudden he dunking 3 times.
Dunks the first game.
He got a new set of legs, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But listen, so back to what we were saying. I honestly feel like this playoff very much was all right. We're all going to tune in now and kind of see how these teams are, because now everyone's healthy. Of course, Harden gets hurt, which is unfortunate. But then again, Kyrie and KD just go out there and absolutely demolish. Dude, you got one loud bird in the background, Kevin.
I know, right?
Is that or is that Amy? Is that Amy whistling at you?
Nah, Amy, peace out.
Yeah, she did. So yeah, so I'm still pretty much into it. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what Phoenix can do, but yeah, I mean, Brooklyn is definitely coming together, and hats off to them for going out and getting somebody like Blake Griffin. And Bill Simmons mentioned, can this happen to Kevin Love as well? Can Kevin Love get on a Dallas team or get on the Bucks or somebody, and just
Clippers or something, yeah.
He's still a great player. He can get you 15 points and 12 rebounds any given game and 5 to 8 assists. I mean, heck, Pacers, go get him. Go get him, dude.
We saw him next to Kyrie and LeBron. I mean,
yeah.
he was
that dude is
unstoppable. He got stats. He got a huge deal. I mean,
Kevin and Love is actually a really good example of two guys that I feel like at one point was just like so incredible in the league.
Kevin and Love?
Huh?
Blake Griffin and Love?
Yeah, sorry. yeah. Stay with me, guys, okay? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Kevin and Blake, I should say. They were kind of similar top tier of players, and then you get a couple injuries. Yeah, you get a couple injuries, you end up on some bad teams and people forget about you, but look, I mean, he's a perfect example of someone that's got with Brooklyn and is making a big impact in the playoffs now.
The biggest thing for me for the playoffs, I don't know if you guys, just after last year, the bubble and like the whole like first 3 quarters of the season with like 2,000 fans in the stands to this like full capacity Madison Square Garden, the Utah game last night with the Clippers, like just the fans.
It's back.
Oh,
do you like it? Do you like it with the fans?
Oh
yes.
I don't know why I don't like it.
I wish the Pacers were still playing. I'd love to go to a playoff game.
I think I like hearing the players, and like I just like the setup of the bubble.
I would love for them. I think there's stuff that they can take from the bubble. I love hearing. I know it's full of language, but I love hearing the on-court talk.
Yeah.
I would love to hear the players calling out switch or watch my back.
Yeah,
or,
I would actually love to hear Trey talking shit to the fans right now. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
Trey's been on fire, man.
He's like that little Reggie Miller right now.
He's lighting torches in every city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the old Nate from the Pacers. They talked about that on the pod too, like how since Atlanta fired their coach and Nate took over, how he's kind of helped Trey. Like it was like before that, like it was just Trey out there shooting and running off screens, and like how he taught him, because Nate in his own right was a really solid shooting guard in the NBA, and he kind of gave Trey some this is what you do in the first quarter, this is what you do in the second quarter, and kind of like and how you can see it in the playoffs, how he just picks the team apart. It's so fun to watch. Like, yeah. I like that team.
I'm afraid that guy right there, Trey Young, will eventually, this is a bold statement, eventually do just as well, if not better, than Steph Curry. Ooh. This is Michael. Ready for this? This is Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant right here. Ooh. This is Steph, who is the Michael
design,
Jordan.
Yeah.
Look what Trey's doing. And this dude's been in the league 2-3 years? I mean, this guy.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, was Steph doing this 3 years into the league? I don't think so. This dude's a monster. You're right, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember this in 10 years. I mean, Trey very much. Like, seriously, like the dude is a hooper.
So is everybody in agreement that they think it's a Brooklyn year this year till they get
Yeah.
beat. Pretty much. So
I
my
mean,
question to you guys, because I was thinking about this, which team was better, the KD Golden State team or this Brooklyn team?
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
because of Klay Thompson, right?
Because of Klay Thompson?
Yeah, I think he's the weak link. Everybody else can get a bucket at any
Klay Thompson was scoring
given
60
moment.
points.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, and
No,
he's a really good defender.
yeah,
Okay.
Thompson was scoring 60 points. He's dropping.
Because obviously KD and KD they negate each other, right? KD and KD negate each other. You got
Kyrie and Steph negate each other.
Kyrie versus Steph that negates each other. You got Harden and Thompson. Everybody's gonna give Harden the edge, right?
Yeah.
And then you got Draymond and Blake.
Draymond and Blake, and
No.
then you got what? Joe Harris for the.
Well, hold on.
and
No,
Iguodala,
hold on.
right?
Hold on. We talking about teams in general? Because you're talking about KD. You're using KD on Golden State and on
Yes. Yes.
right.
Yes. I'm not talking about next year.
Okay, so now so what you're comparing then is Steph and Klay versus Harden and Kyrie.
I'm talking about the rest of the four.
The whole team.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
Rest
just
of
talking about the
35.
top dogs. Oh,
Like that 73 win team.
yeah, probably Golden State. I mean, yeah, but we haven't seen enough from Brooklyn.
Yeah, they just haven't played
they,
together.
they've played like 6 games together.
Right.
It's insane.
And they might not ever play together. They might win this without Harden.
But they have guys that come off the bench that are just like, I mean, you can't guard Joe Harris, when you're guarding Kyrie, KD, and Harden. I mean, with Blake down low, with the
they are unguardable.
They had some guy that came off the bench and lit up for like 12 points. I don't know what his name was.
Oh, the
exactly
blonde dreads
dude. Yeah.
And
that's Clarkson.
Yeah.
And their ball movement has been like Golden State. I mean, just so unselfish. And I don't know if that changed with Harden out or not, or if it was the same with Harden. But
Harden has deferred a lot this year.
He has.
He was the MVP before all these injuries happened for a little bit.
What you have
carried him for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like with those three, you have 3 of the best ISO players in the NBA. Besides, I mean, Steph and Damon, and obviously LeBron's in that mix too. But
Giannis.
I don't know. It's just I mean, there's part of me that's cheering for him. And there's part of me that would like to see someone else get it. But the part of the podcast that I really found the most interesting was them talking about the players and how they're choosing where they want to go, and even some of the media stuff, where it's like these players are now allowed to speak on podcasts to better explain themselves. Yeah, more accessible. And they were trying to compare it to today's NBA to years ago, where like if you saw Larry Bird, I think they use the example, if you saw Larry Bird smoking a cigarette, like it would have been all over the news or something, but to now it's just like I don't know. I can't remember. Do you remember that part about how he's talking about Larry Bird?
It was like if you went and asked Larry Bird what he thought about the president or some sort of policy or politics, nobody cared back in 1986 what an NBA's player opinion is on that. And today, obviously with social media, their opinions and their lifestyle is out there, and it has more impact.
Yeah, exactly.
But like what Simmons was saying, though, like you're going to see more of these type of teams pop up where, these guys who are friends in the summer and they play pickup ball together, they're good friends. They've grown up together in the league, from high school times, and they're just going to join together, and they're going to be able to come together like this and look all world when they've played 6 games together,
Yeah.
You're going to have more Harden situations and stuff like that. So we're players forcing stuff out. So
unfortunately.
Yeah. Want to hit the wheel?
Let's hit the wheel.
You got some light over there, Kevin?
That's what I'm about to do.
I'm not sure what this one's about.
Reincarnation.
I know that they talked about it. And I think Kevin listed it as a conversation he wanted to bring up, but he's trying to
I'm
get
trying I'm trying to go to the light.
figure out.
We losing you, bro. I mean, you know it
You're
gets
gonna bring
dark
all
out.
the cicadas.
You
Hey,
know it
so
gets dark out.
hey, so I wanted to talk about that because at the end of that podcast, he kind of talked about reincarnation, and like I feel like I never get anybody else's opinion on what they think that is or what you think the afterworld is. Most Christians
Yeah.
think that it's a heaven and hell, and there's no in between. And so I was trying to get your guys' opinion on that, and I'll give you my opinion at the end. Who wants to
Who wants to go
volunteer?
first?
Um,
I
I believe in heaven. I don't necessarily believe in hell.
Mhm.
Just because there's too much scripture out there that doesn't really reference hell per se, but it does reference purgatory and people just disappearing after the rapture. So I don't necessarily believe in hell per se, but I believe in heaven. So I don't know about the reincarnation stuff. I've read about it, and I mean, I don't know. I guess the theory is that uh, your energy or whatever gets changed into a different being, whether it be an animal or a tree or whatever. And I guess that's a viable theory, as good as any. If you believe in heaven, then
right.
I guess the other thing could be true. Who knows? At the end of the day, uh, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's if you're asking. Yeah, that's kind of what I believe.
Anybody
Go
else?
ahead, Jared.
Right there with you. Like, I don't necessarily like. I think anything less than like, whatever you think is the ultimate highest afterlife for yourself. If you don't get there, then anything less than that would be like hell, I guess you could say. Um, in a sense, according to your beliefs, whatever your beliefs may be. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
That's the interesting part to me is that depending on what your beliefs are, right? Like that's what I always say when it comes to all this stuff. Like it's all about like, well, I don't know. I believe this. I've chosen to believe this, so that's what I believe, and I hope I'm right when I die. So
Yeah.
I guess I really never have given much thought to it. I mean, I'm kind of curious on your guys' thoughts on evolution as well, because that and the reincarnation is just two things that I guess I don't know if I'd say I was raised. Yeah, I guess I'd say I was raised on to not really believe in, or I've never really given it much thought, I guess. But yeah, because they were talking about it, and I was just like, dude, like I've never thought about like if I die, if I'm gonna come back as something else, or if I'm something else now. That had. I mean, because that's what it is, right? It's just people dying and then coming back as something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, your energy comes back as what kind of as almost as how you were during the previous life is what I understand it as. So,
You're right.
I don't know. What do you think,
And
Kevin?
I kind of see like the heaven aspect of kind of like what you guys the kind of the same thing. Like it's all good, but I think the hell aspect is like you almost like a video game, and you reset and you come back here. Like you go through the same struggle of life, and you have to make those decisions again, and like you got to fight through life again. That's kind of how I see it as
So
what
you think you
what
think
hell.
this is hell?
Yeah, in a sense, I think that this could be hell because you're going through the struggles of life. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but and
Yeah,
it's kind of like I kind of want to piggyback on what Jared said. Like anything is going to be hell compared to what you think heaven is.
that is interesting you went down that road, because I've heard people say that before. Like I think this is hell. I think we are living in hell here
Hmm.
because we're separated from God. Period.
Right.
Like, so anything less than being with God is
Yeah.
hell. So I don't. There's too many theories and too many thoughts and too many opinions out there, dude. I don't know who to listen to. So,
Right.
all I know is none of us know. you know, and
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's what we're all. I think that's what life is. We're all searching for that answer. We're all searching for that fulfillment. Like, what is it that completes me? Why am I here? What am I doing? You know, like that's my biggest frustration. Like with my job, I don't feel like I'm fulfilling whatever the heck
You
I'm
need
supposed
to
to
be
be
done.
here. Like, yeah, there's moments, right? Like we all have moments, right, where you're just like, man, that felt good. That
You
was a
feel like
good
you're making an
encounter.
impact.
Yes, like I mean, I always go back to coaching. Like coaching, there's nothing that makes you feel like you're making a difference in someone's life than just pouring into them, helping them, helping them reach little goals. Like that is so fulfilling, But so yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's like hard to, sometimes hard to wrap your head around all of it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Kaboom.
Swing Finny.
The Witcher.
I can't read it.
It says Jared made up a new holiday.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I
Giddy.
knew that was gonna be brought up.
So some person, I'm gonna guess it's a man, decided to make July 9th National Sex Day with your partner.
June 9th, right?
Sorry, June 9th.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else to say about that other than someone made it up and it became viral, so now it's a thing.
Let's just talk about how holidays get made up or days get made up.
Right.
I would love to know when Valentine's Day started or Father's Day or Mother's Day. I mean, I'm sure I could Google it, so it's not like I really care that much.
There's YouTube rabbit holes you can go down for all of these.
Right, and it probably leads to some cult.
It all leads back to Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where we're at today.
Yeah,
it leads back to Nazis. Yeah,
forcing you to get the vaccine.
So, are there cards for this day? This conversation.
I would assume it's Father's Day. I would just assume it's Father's Day cards. I mean, I don't,
yeah,
Really?
Yeah, same thing. You just pay 69 cents for it.
Conversation. Yeah, it evolved into what Richard puts on Urban Dictionary. Do you think you have?
I have no idea, to be honest. I just kind of remembered that one. Like, it just popped in my head, like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that. Well, there was a day we were doing help desk, and it was kind of slow that day for some reason. So me and a buddy of mine just started, like, going off about, Urban Dictionary and started making stuff up. And if anything made the other person laugh, we just put it on there.
There you go.
Like, did all day for, like, 8 hours straight. Like, it was great.
I stay strapped with it on my phone. Just in case.
So I got a kind of I got a somewhat of a funny story that I just was reminded of. Does anybody know what purpling is? I gotta look that up now. Make sure that's how the right thing.
Purpling?
So
please,
with an ing on it.
Yeah. So my daughter just went to camp for the first time, which that's something else I can talk about.
Nice.
Well, kind of. Well, I just kind of had a thought today that was kind of funny, but anyways. So anyways, the minister was up talking, or whoever the youth leader was, giving us all the instructions about the camp and all that on Sunday. He said there will be no purpling. And I looked over at my friend and who her son's going, and I go, "What?" I was like, "What is that?" And he then eventually it was the mixing of boys and girls. Like that was the meaning. So she looked it up. I'm trying to find it now in the Urban Dictionary.
It's actually a gang reference.
Okay,
Probably.
well, so yeah, no. So the one she saw, it was a crotch toupee. So we just started busting out laughing because she was like purpling, and she looked it up and she goes, "It says it's a crotch toupee." I was
no
like,
crotch toupees up in here.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe she spelled it differently or whatever, but I just looked it up and it said any form of PDA between a guy and a chick includes holding hands, touching, kissing, flirting, or whatever. So, anyways, I thought that was hilarious. I didn't know if you guys had ever heard that word or not, but
not the word. I've heard of the PDA. I mean, that was the thing in youth group back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Public display. Yeah. I'm a fact.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The first,
Nice.
well, the second
Because
thing
you'll go to
down,
hell.
typing into Google said purpling church camp, and it just says
Nice. There you go.
boys are blue, girls are pink. The joke here is that 2 boys together would be a dark blue, and 2 girls together would be a hot pink.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And then you cross them, and that'd be purple.
Correct.
Is that on the Onion?
No, that's straight off Google.
Straight off Google, and we believe everything we read.
Hey, it's all real.
So, anyways, that was random, but
PDA camp.
What's for dinner, Blake?
what's for dinner? Like, what's this? Oh, y'all, could y'all make fun of me everywhere I go? God, I can't eat Chick-fil-A because they don't support everyone. I can't go to
I'm doing
Chili's
Chick-fil-A.
because it's white trash.
I've seen a lot of TikToks out there about Chili's since they sold a handful of years ago, and that they kind of went the 2 for $20 and the 2 for $22 or whatever deal.
What Applebee's does.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all do that.
Yeah.
It just
You all-
attracts a more lower.
It's good when you're young and just starting out in your early 20s.
So now that was honestly the first time I've been to especially that Chili's in a long time, but it's just not one of those places we go to too often. I mean, where do you guys go? I mean, you guys act like Chili's and Applebee's and all these places are like might as well be fast food, but it's definitely better than fast food.
Yeah.
I honestly don't really eat out that much. If I do, it's for the kids, and you have a 5 and 11-year-old, so yeah, you're gonna go to McDonald's for the kids.
Right.
But when we go out to eat, like we'll order like Chinese or Mexican, whatever the local joint is.
So you just go to
a long time since I've ate at Applebee's. I mean, it's probably been years since I've ate at Applebee's. I guess realistically, if we want to, be honest, we do eat at Texas Roadhouse.
right.
So, I mean, I guess if you want to, talk about that, yeah, I mean, we'll eat there. But I just, we just like to make fun of you. Anything you do or to make fun of. It doesn't matter. Hold up a lottery ticket for $20 million and we find a way to clown you. It's fine.
I know. I'm like eating at Ruth Chris, and you're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, here we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's funny. No, I mean, hey, I'd rather grill. I'll tell you that right now. I tried that. Oh yeah, I tried that brisket or that pulled pork. I know you sent you guys some pictures. I think I took it off a little too early. But since we all kind of got new grills and whatnot, I'm having. I don't know if I'm having issues. I don't know where to put the probe in to get the correct temperature. Because like when I did the pulled pork, I had 2 different
you're gonna
probes
get
in there.
Depending upon where the fat is, that's just what's gonna happen. Like things will be the good thing. What I do is I usually put the probe in 2 different areas, so that way you get a hole. And then once the lower end is completely done, then we're just done.
Right. Well, I think that's where I kind of messed up. I let the probe that comes with the Traeger that read 203, which that was my mark. But I had that like in the thickest part because I was thinking I want the thickest part done,
Yeah.
And then I had another probe on the other side, and it was like at 189, I think, when I pulled it off. So, because I honestly I've never done pulled pork, so I didn't want to overdo it, one of those situations. And plus, I've been waiting for 8 hours, and I was ready to eat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was still good. It just, I could tell it probably needed probably another hour, honestly, on the grill. So, but it was kind of fun to experiment.
No better. I mean, it's your first time doing it. You're not.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll be.
Yeah.
Shit. There have been times burgers.
Yeah, for sure.
And you started with something that was cheap, so if you mess that up, it's not a big deal,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
want to do a brisket and then do some ribs too. So,
Ribs.
It's fun.
Making me hungry.
I know, man.
You really get away from everybody, so nobody messes with you, right? I mean, that's really what it is. It's like no one messes with me while I'm cooking, ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's only quiet spot.
Well, with those type of meats, you just put them on there and walk away for the
Yeah.
most part. You know,
It's like a crock pot. Yeah.
Messes with me though. Like it's like, hey, I'm cooking, leave me alone.
yeah, I need to make sure this bird doesn't move.
Yeah, that's right.
He's providing food.
Right.
Yeah.
He's doing the manly thing.
All right, spin that wheel.
Let's spin the wheel here. Pacers coach fired. This is a little bit more NBA talk. I don't think this will take too long here. Look, I remember this guy got hired, and McMillan got fired. I thought I from the jump was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. They should not have fired McMillan. I still think that's a mistake. I mean, you can say what you want about McMillan having a good team, but Atlanta was having a shitty season till McMillan came along. And someone here even said he took Trey Young and showed him how to play properly.
Yeah.
It was a bad move. And look, and I feel like people were saying it was Oladipo that wanted him out. Where's Oladipo out? He's somewhere with his leg hung up above a bed somewhere.
Be careful. Right.
I just,
that's my buddy.
Oladipo is.
The only thing I'll disagree with you on that, Richard, is in the NBA, after 3 to 5 years, a coach's voice wears out in the locker room. No matter how much you change it up, how much you rephrase it, do different things differently, try to, you just unless you're a Popovich or like a transcendent, type coach, Phil Jackson, those type of guys, like unless there's a big time voice, a big time top 10 player that's like, this guy's the
real deal.
The real deal, kind of has your back in the locker room. You lose the locker room not because you're not a good coach, just because of the and especially, we all see it in the player empowerment era. These guys, I mean, the Nets have friggin' Steve Nash. He never coached.
And he's going to get a championship on his first year.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's super crazy.
But see, it's so tough. I was getting ready to say, but look how well he's doing.
Too, right? Isn't that what Steve Kerr did with Golden State?
Yeah. Yeah. But those guys are also like really good at the game. I mean, Steve Nash if anyone knows the game, that guy knows the game, so you understand how they can get it, because at that point, man, it's about managing egos, keeping everybody focused, keeping everybody motivated, figuring out what the defense is doing. I mean, dude, and these guys, I mean, I'm blown away by how many shots go in. Right? Like I'm more shocked. Yeah, I'm more shocked when someone misses a shot anymore. And I don't know if it's because people have just become such great shooters, or they have the confidence just to let it fly, or if it's just because there's no defense. I don't know. I mean, defense is definitely not played like it was in the 90s, but they're still D'ing them up,
Yeah.
Well, it's the same case as the NFL, right? I mean, they're scoring 30, 40, 50 points a game.
Yeah, that's because that's what the fans want to see.
And it's because the league has, basically choked up the defense. Defense can't do certain things anymore. I calls in the NBA have gotten kind of out of control. Like they showed a play, I forgot who it was. Someone shot a ball, kicked his leg out sideways, and still got the foul call.
Yeah. Those calls, that's the stuff that just it makes your sport look cheap. It's like, come on, man. Like, and then they go back and watch the replay, and they have to come up with some reason to justify the foul they called. It's just.
Here's my thing with the old Pacers coach. It could have very well turned out just like the Raptors firing the coach of the year in the guy that coached them, and they brought in Nick Nurse, and then they won the championship. It's just the fact that it broke differently for the Pacers, injury-wise. those type of things, that all plays into it. And I mean, granted, he never had a full complement of his roster, on top of the things that, if you're winning, if we would have been winning and we had everybody, some of those things that came out, like where he was on the hot seat in the middle of the season from, Woj, wouldn't have been a big deal if you're, 10 or 15 games above 500. But when you're fighting for the 8th and 9th spot, those are big deals. You know what I mean?
Wait,
so,
it doesn't hurt that Toronto got Leonard, so
absolutely
right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. When is ownership and the GM's accountable then, though? Because I feel like the Pacers issue is ownerships and the general manager right now.
Absolutely.
More than anything.
Was Nate? We can move on after this, but was Nate only here 1 year?
Yeah. He was hired in October.
The new Nate.
4?
Nate McMillan?
Richards, yeah.
No, the Nate that just got, isn't that the guy's name that just got fired?
Nate
coaching.
Oh, Nate. Oh, yeah, he's here 1 year. Yep.
See, I think that's tough too.
He got hired in October.
God, dude. I mean, you're going to give me 4 or 5 months just to turn around a program? Like, come on. Obviously that was
there sounds like there's a lot of issues. I mean, not just coaching style, but HR, managerial wise. It sounded like there was a lot of things probably going on behind the scenes.
That's probably why Depot wanted out. Like you said.
Well, it's also like I read something where like he held some of the same standards that Nate McMillan did for the players, like what they wore, like their attire on traveling and stuff like that. But when it's coming from a former player and a black guy who is black, like, 90% of our roster, like it comes across different than, a 5'7" white guy who, has no playing experience and is just good with a clipboard and can call a good play from a good out of bounds play out of a timeout.
Right.
Makes a difference.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's this history of so many teams though that are excellent that have that kind of protocol. I mean, certainly not the Pacers per se, but if you're trying to instill that kind of culture, well, I mean, the Pacers have never won a championship other than the ABA. So sorry, you're not the Packers, you're not the Yankees, you're not. I mean, that is what it is. But if you're trying to instill that into your team, then what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, never mind.
Can't
breathe.
Okay.
No, actually, I was actually going to ask Kevin. I meant to ask him last week. So for those that don't know, Kevin lives very close to the speed, the Indy 500, and obviously we had that. That was 2 weekends ago.
Memorial weekend.
Yeah.
2
What's
weekends,
life? That's a lot of people that comes into your guys' little town there. What's life like when it becomes like that?
You either choose to leave or you either choose to stay because you're basically on lockdown. I actually had to work that day, so I kind of snuck out. But you're kind of like locked in, and it's basically like a neighborhood celebration. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So are you just locked in because there's just cars everywhere up and down your streets? Just
traffic. They block off some streets and stuff like that. So you're kind of just shut down for the race, and yeah, it's pretty interesting time.
Here for you guys now, right? With that Daytona, they do Formula One there now.
Yeah.
So it's 3 times a year now.
Yeah.
Do you do the parking? Do you charge for parking?
Yeah, we've done it. We didn't think it was going to be that busy this year, but it actually was busy because there wasn't any parking at the track and at the businesses over here. So the neighborhoods kind of picked up. So we didn't gauge for that because we didn't know. But you should
have charged KPZ.
Did they?
KPZ made some money out here, man, gambling. He said he made $1,300.
How much?
$1,300. He drinks around him.
He should have paid you to park in his driveway or your driveway. I was kidding.
Right.
Good for him.
All right.
Back to the wheel.
All right. Blake's favorite subject.
Jeez, what is it? No more masks. How is it, Richard, going to the gym with no mask?
So this is the first time I went into a building without a mask on, for a year. My work has officially gone maskless, but I don't go back into the actual office till tomorrow. So it was just weird because I got an email from the YMCA yesterday saying, hey, as of June 9th, if you're vaccinated, don't worry about a mask. So it's like, well, cool. I don't know how they're going to enforce it, but I'm vaccinated, so I've done the right thing. So I'll just not worry about a mask. So I'm always going to carry a mask in my car just in case, because you just don't know what's going to happen. So I went in. First person I seen had a mask on. I was like, man, what the fuck? And so I walked in, and then there's a dude at the counter. He was working there. He was an older guy. He didn't have a mask on. So it's like, all right, cool, I'm good. So I just kind of walked through, and the lady that checked me in smiled, said, hey. I was like, hey, am I good to check in? And she was like, yeah, you're good. So I just went and checked in and went upstairs, man. And it just was, some people had masks, some people didn't. I mean, it was weird, but it felt good. I mean, when I work out, I always take my mask off, when I'm at the machine anyways. They're fine with that. It's just when you're wandering around them, they didn't want you heavy breathing your spit everywhere.
Right.
But it's okay to do it on the machinery.
Well, I mean, you got the machine right in front of you, so and you spray it down when you're done. So
I gotcha. Yeah.
so yeah, it was really weird. And it was kind of a weird thing where
isn't that funny? It's weird just to walk around without something on your face. You get so used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it, and then there's this whole thing of being an anti-vaxxer and anti-masker. It's like I don't know. It's like I'm not that, and I mean, look, I'm at this point of the whole thing where if you don't want the vaccination, good fucking luck. I don't care. I don't, either you get it and you die, or you get it and you have to deal with the consequences of it, or whatever. So, I mean, I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, just let everybody not wear masks and get it over with.
Right. Because there's no way they can tell anyway.
There's no way they can tell anyway. And my kids still wear masks because, I've heard stories of little 10-year-old kids dying from COVID. And I'm like, well, what the it's not necessarily the fact that the percentage of it happening. It's more along the lines of, what if it does happen? Right. And I don't want my poor kid getting COVID and then becoming a long hauler, which is more probable if he does, or he or she does get COVID, right? And then now my poor kid's dealing with asthma the rest of their life. Right. So it's just,
look, I mean, I get all that. It's just, to me, there's a million different things you could say about that. As far as your kids, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want. There's a chance that they could get hurt, or there's a chance, that. I mean, once again, that's been my thing. This whole on all of this is just we are dealing with such a small percentage, but we're doing such extreme things, including closing businesses and all that.
Yeah, we're talking about masks. We're not talking about anything. We're masks. Put this cloth on your face, Jay, so you don't. That's it. There's nothing extreme about that.
Right, but I mean, we were talking about it too, about the whole Fauci thing. That's the thing now too, where it's he was saying in the beginning that you didn't need the masks, that they only helped those that had the disease, so it's just that back to the beginning,
the whole time though, right? It's people fail to understand that that email was February 9th of 2020, right? So that was at the beginning of all this, where he was like, well, if you have it, you should probably wear a mask. But they didn't realize that a lot of people were asymptomatic, and there were a lot of other things they didn't realize at the time. They came out a couple months later and said, hey, yeah, masks do help. So it's just dude, you don't think people don't evolve and learn and say, hey, and it's already documented that he said that he didn't believe masks. He said this in an interview. He didn't believe masks help. That email wasn't new news. We already know that he originally thought that masks did not help. He'd already said this in an interview. A couple months later, he came along and said, my bad, masks do help. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it just made news, so I figured there was probably more to it, but
it's just people just.
It's just a hard copy that they found.
Okay, but I mean, but then we also want to blame Trump for the economy going to hell and him not handling the pandemic correctly when he's in the he's in the same situation, right? He's just getting news every other day about it, and
Right.
from scientists,
I don't think anybody necessarily blaming Trump per se. However, there is some responsibility in terms of how you mismanage them funds, right? You did the right thing with the small business loans, but you didn't ensure that the right people got the loans. When the Catholic Church can get $1 billion small business loan, that's a problem, right?
Right.
Didn't like Amazon and Walmart get it too?
Guarantee these companies wouldn't do it. You did nothing. You just let these companies just, that's why these businesses closed, right? It wasn't, if the right thing had been done, because why do we see places like New Zealand, small businesses there are fine? Why do we see all these other countries just fine? It's because our government did not manage
the money correctly,
the relief funds correctly.
So who does that fall on?
The guy that signs the bill.
Yeah.
Who is that? Trump? Did Trump sign the bill?
Yes.
But I mean, not to be whatever, not to make excuses for him, whatever, but he doesn't make that decision on his own, right? I'm sure he's got a team.
You certainly do. But you're the one with the pen to paper that says,
right.
Okay, and you're the guy that came out and was like, well, I'm a businessman and I know money and I know this and I know that. You take that position, right? Now it does fall on you.
Now it's on you.
You signed the final paperwork that let it all go through. And you didn't do anything to say, hey, let's make sure the small guy's protected. Right? You did nothing like that. Instead, you let all these big businesses, and not only that, fraud was rampant.
Super rampant. Because
at
the time I worked in a branch at one of the top 3 banks in America. You guys know where I work. There were people, we were closing people's accounts and returning the money to the SBA because they were getting $10,000 and $20,000 from the SBA into a personal account, but because they were putting in fictitious PPP loans and getting them deposited to a personal account.
Right, and look, and just to further on, I'm not a huge fan of Joe Biden per se, so I just want to get that out there. However, one of the things he did was he hired, what was it, tens of thousands more IRS people to check for that fraud, to make sure that people were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could have, done things to ensure. So, look, the blame isn't fully on him because people in general are shitty. Like, people are just shitty.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Right.
They're always going to look out for themselves. They're going to try. So, look, that is what it is. But it's, look, man, you're going to sign up for that job. That
comes with it. That comes with the territory.
Rule. And Jared knows if you're a manager at a store, if your lowliest person does something wrong, if it's a terrible thing, you're probably you're probably fired for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at a branch where somebody got away with a $10,000 fraud on a check because a $20 an hour teller, and $20 an hour isn't anything to sneeze at, but a $20 an hour teller didn't go through the proper procedures to, get it. And guess what? That loss is on the branch and on the manager of that branch, even though that manager could have been off that day or could have been, in a meeting or not there. That it's still on them. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I've had issues where, money wasn't taken to the bank correctly. I was a store manager. I was not at work. I was on vacation. My assistant manager did not take money to the bank right away. He put it on a counter, was doing some other thing. Someone took the money. Whole day's worth of revenue gone.
Yep.
Ooh.
Guess who got the phone call?
You did.
Me. I was on vacation. I didn't even know what was going on.
That's crazy, man.
So, yeah. Moving on. Uh-oh. UFOs.
No.
They're real.
Are they?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
That's
the thing.
Playing word games. Like, look, unidentified flying object doesn't necessarily mean alien, right? Because they have a whole new term now for aliens, right? Unidentified UFAs or something like that, if I'm mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So look, we have one of two situations going on. Either these really are aliens and the government's just fucking around now with word games, or there's another government or us that have highly advanced flying systems, and either A, our government doesn't want to let other governments know we're doing this shit, or B, our government doesn't want to worry our people that Russia's doing this shit.
Why Russia?
Or
It's
China.
always
Yeah.
been.
Well,
I feel like it's always been.
I always hear Russia, and I guess I don't.
Well,
I'm not. Yeah,
us
go
in
ahead.
Russia, America and Russia, man, we've, ever since the Cold War, is just, I don't necessarily know per se what it is, but it's just been, we've always been at each other's throats. A lot of the latest ransomware things have come from Russia. Russia has been known to try to attack our utility systems, electricity, water, try to attack our oil pipelines. I think they're responsible for the latest attack on the meat industry. Like
Jeez.
I don't necessarily know what it is that they have, but
Most importantly, Rocky 4.
Rocky. I think that is what it is.
That's what it all comes down to. They didn't like the ending.
Right. Yeah, I just think that government, man, that Putin guy, he, you want to talk about a corrupt leader, right, in a supposed democratic country, right? That is way worse than anything Trump ever did.
Absolutely.
You could talk all the shit you want about Trump saying bad words. This dude has people killed.
Yeah.
Legitimately murdered for saying the wrong things, or if you are running against don't support him, running an election against him, or if you're a writer and you happen to write something bad about him, he just has you killed.
It's scary, man. Could you imagine?
No. Yeah. So I mean, it's like people cry about Trump, and it's like, dude, that's not evil. Like a guy saying some stupid words.
Yeah.
That and the Chinese guy, the one that will
Kim Jong
slaughtering millions of Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
That is evil.
So what's up with that? Why is it that it seems like other countries that's what their leaders do? Like, I mean, does it just become just one man becomes successful, powerful, and then controlling, and then everyone has to listen, or because he's got power, they end up dead? I mean, how did that happen in other countries to where it hasn't happened here? Do you know?
Well, it's because the power trickles down, right? If you agree with the most powerful man in the world, what's he going to do? He's going to owe you some favors. So now you've become powerful too. You've got money. It's just an easy way to go into power. I mean, look, it's not to compare it to it, but it's office politics, right? You go into the office. First thing you do as an employee, what do? You go find the highest person you can on the totem pole at your office, whether it's the vice president or some branch manager. You go have lunch with them and talk about sports or whatever, and just try to understand what it is they're trying to accomplish and help them accomplish that goal. Now suddenly you're appreciated. Now you're in power.
Right.
That's what it is. It's a much darker game in terms of what they're doing. It's kind of like also like what's happening in Israel now, right? Where they're trying to overthrow the guy I think they have I don't know, is it a prime minister or is it a president? I don't know what they have over there, but apparently the guy that they have over there, they're trying to make a section of the government now that is a lot more diverse. So they're trying to make a section of the government that has like, Muslims and Jews and Christians, and just kind of basically diversify this section of government. And in doing so, there are people that supported the guy that's currently in power that are basically going away from this guy and to this other section. So really, that's really what you have to have another part of the government that can come in and take that over. But if you have people like Putin that's just going to kill them, it's moot.
So if these objects that they're finding, are they only finding them now because we have more technology, we have more cameras, or are these the same objects that people have been seeing for years and years and years that have claiming that they're seeing, stuff in the sky that, they can't identify? Do you know?
That's
the question,
That's
right?
the question. Yeah.
I think some of it's new, right? Some of it is new. At least once a month, it felt like for a while we were hearing about an airline pilot or some Air Force pilot seeing something crazy. And that's really how this all came about, right? Is an Air Force pilot seen something and then the video got leaked.
Yeah.
And now the government's in a weird place of like, oh shit, they seen something they shouldn't have seen.
I'm more
Right, so
along the
that's-
lines of you, Richard, where like I'm more apt to believe that, not to say that I don't believe in aliens or another species, but I'm more apt to believe that another government has developed a technology, a flying system, a whatever that isn't publicly known, that is out there, that they just don't want to reveal for whatever reason. And that's what is now being caught. And that's why, going back to the pod with Bill Simmons, like that's why it's not being, you don't see it over New York City or Chicago or some major metropolitan city, like
Because they don't want it to be seen
in the desert or over the ocean off the coast of, San Diego, or in the, the Gulf of Mexico, or wherever these sightings are happening. That's why that's where the testing takes place, because not even like the upper echelon of the government knows that these are happening.
I mean, and when you think about this world and how massive it is and the galaxies and all that, I mean, is it not just something in the galaxy that's that's flying around?
I mean, it could be.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just feel like it's probably not. I would assume that whatever has the technology, right, to fly from way billions of light years away from here probably has some sort of technology to also go invisible somehow, or to mask themselves, or to do something. So I don't know that I necessarily, I kind of subscribe to the theory that there probably are, intelligent life forms out there, not just little microcosms of beings that just are little things, amoebas. I think there are things walking around intelligent, and they've made their things and they have their own race. But I feel like if they have enough technology to come here, they probably have enough technology to somehow mask themselves, and they're not going to be caught by some dude flying Delta Air.
half awake and half sober.
Yeah. Or some guy with a drone or with a cell phone in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
it. I was
I think,
gonna say
I think the biggest point that I came through and found when he talked on the pod was basically, regardless of the situation, of the two situations, like the government has been lying and they're gonna have to own up to it, basically.
Okay, but they're not gonna have to do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing we can say. Okay, I mean, we're all like, okay, cool. There's flying objects.
That's why everybody's pretty much ignoring it. Like, it's not even. Like, I don't really hear
it's
any.
not even news.
Other than the 5-minute conversations on these podcasts, nobody's really even giving time of day. And you see like 60 Minutes of them doing it, but let's be honest, 60 Minutes and these other companies, these major news organizations, are like anybody else now. They're just trying to get freaking clicks. They're trying to get anything anymore. When I can go to 100 different news organizations and read about aliens, 60 Minutes is going to do it too.
But that's what seemed to make it legitimized or whatever, is because like, oh, well, 60 Minutes is talking about it now, so it must be legitimate, but still no one cares.
No,
right.
because it's not affecting us. It's not like it's coming to cities and
We're
destroying us.
I think most people know it's just bullshit. Like, it's just bullshit at this point.
Too many people are trying to worry about how they're going to get their laundry folded and bills paid to
how they're
care
get
if something's hovering over an ocean somewhere,
Yeah, I mean, there was a really famous scientist once that basically said like the scariest thing that could ever happen is for aliens to come, right? Because the alien basically, they're coming from billions of light years away. They already have everything they need. Why do they need to come to our stupid planet? There's only one reason they need to come to our planet. That's for resources.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're not going to come to be friendly and make friends. They're going to come because they need workers. right? And B, they need our minerals.
But who's to say they need the same minerals and they need the same resources and things that we have on this planet compared to the light years away that they came from?
Scientifically, at least, right? There is a very specific environment in which things can live, right? Life form, right? And our environment was perfect. So you would assume, for the most part, if there's another, being like us that's, humanoids breathe there, it would be similar to us.
Right.
At least that's what you would think in theory. But who knows? I mean, there may be a freaking life form that breathes, I don't know. Something totally different. You just don't know what you're going to find out there.
No.
But, theoretically, even if they just need a working force, what if they don't need the minerals? What if they just need people to build their shit for them because they're,
because they're going through COVID.
Big Amazon planet and they need warehouse workers.
So they're going to come here and snatch some of us up.
Snatch us up for $5 an hour, and we're going to pee in bottles the rest of our lives.
Hey, as long as they'll pay $20 an hour, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, I don't know, man. I got people leaving the company I work for because people are paying more money now, and it's crazy, dude. Like everywhere I look at, people are hiring. Yeah,
everybody's hiring, and even my boss, dude. The minute I walked through the door last week, my boss was like, "Man, y'all just need to work from home. We got to stay competitive." Like that's what came out of his mouth. Like,
wow,
we have to stay competitive. Let you guys work from home. Like we just.
So. Yeah, I think we're really. I mean, it's a no-brainer comment, but we're really about to see an extremely increase in prices of just life in general. I mean, I know my company's raising prices and it's trucking, it's transportation. So if we're raising it, everyone else is going to have to raise it because to get the product to you and I has gone up. I mean, it just, and I don't know. I was talking to my buddy today about he was looking into buying a house, and basically at the end, if he would have built one 2 years ago, I believe it would be like $130,000 less than what he would today, just in material. Like, just think about that. Like, that's insane, man.
That's a house.
That's insane. Yeah.
My wife.
And no one's making more money. I mean, we're all kind of around the same range. Anyways, go ahead, Jared.
My wife has some clients that signed a contract like the first week of January to build a house with a builder.
Yep.
They picked a lot, everything. It was, the time frame was like it was going to be ready in October. So, that was the time frame. They came back to him like a month ago and said, "Hey, that house that you signed the deal with us for, let's say $300,000 is now going to cost $375,000 to build. So you can either agree to this new price or you can walk away from the deal. Which is it?"
Yeah, and
somebody else is going to buy it right now. Yeah,
and there's going to be 10 other people to walk up behind her, walk up behind them, and willing to pay that price.
Yeah,
because there's people willing right now to pay $50,000, $100,000 over the list price or over the appraised value price of a house right now just to get a house. It's crazy.
It is.
My son came in here. He wants to tell you guys a joke.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You're up.
What did he say? You're up?
You're out?
You're up.
Oh, you're up who?
You're a two.
I got 10-year-old. That's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought dad jokes were bad.
Right? He loves it.
Well, hey, that was about as funny as the joke your dad gave us one time. About how he's got moves.
All right.
I was draining threes last night.
I'm so jealous that you're playing, dude. I need to get back out there.
Dude, when I go to the Y, there's nobody in the gym. Like every day I look in there, I'm like,
that's sad.
There's 2 courts. Why is there nobody in any of these courts?
Wow. Maybe that's what I need to do.
It's so good to be bumping up and knocking guys over, setting screens, posting up, battling. Love
That
it.
sounds like a
Miss
Charlie horse.
Yeah, sounds tiresome. All right,
Yeah.
what you got, Richard?
The last thing we had was the Floyd Paul fight.
Ooh.
Who cares? I'm over it. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. Who cares?
No.
It was
Hey,
entertaining. Like
hey, that's what it is, guys. It's
it's
entertaining.
yeah, it was
It should
entertaining.
be.
It's not about like just like the pod. Bill had his 12-year-old son. Like he's
Loving
like,
it.
what would you watch? Would you watch more celebrities fight, or would you watch more skilled guys who you have no idea who they are watch?
Yeah.
And he's like,
They're
no, I
from
wanna
Russia
see,
and Brazil.
exactly.
Yeah. Hey,
It
man.
should be a
I mean,
slap to the face.
yeah.
Floyd said that it's legalized bank robbery.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
paid 120 million. Logan Paul.
120 million. Where'd you hear that?
120 million. This is just the estimate that I've seen. 120 million. Logan Paul 20 million.
Yeah, because Floyd got like something flat. I think he got, gosh, I want to say 100 million flat plus 50% of pay-per-view revenue or something like that.
God, dude.
And
I mean,
I think Logan Paul got 250,000 flat, and then 30, maybe around there, percent of pay-per-view revenue or something like that.
and like that money is such bonus money for an athlete. You know, like when you're done,
you think Floyd
like
needs that money?
like even
I need that.
I don't know, man. Everybody needs
He
more money
spends
the way
it, though,
the way
yeah.
people spend it. I mean, when you got Bugattis and Rolexes worth, more than
All those legal bills from all the women he hit.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly that too. I mean, I don't know, but like even Tyrone Woodley getting that fight with Jake Paul, like that's gonna be a really big paycheck for him. Like he's got to be like, oh man,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
because
done
his career's
it. Yeah, by all
I mean, he's cut by the UFC, so I mean, in a way, I'm like, dude, good for Tyrone. He can go
Yeah.
out there and get maybe 10 mil or 20 mil that he
Mhm.
was not going to get, and then set off in the
He-
sunset,
He
So
only made 4 mil in the UFC.
total.
Yes.
That is
He's only
so
worth.
embarrassing, dude.
Yes.
Like he was so
A
good
defending
too.
champ.
Dude, I honestly don't know how the UFC is still getting away with this.
Wasn't
Like,
he?
That's why. Yeah.
You talk
That's why
about
it's
bank
embarrassing.
robbery.
Wasn't he champ
Yeah.
for like years or something? He was champ for a
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah,
I
and
feel like he
listen,
defended the title like 5 times.
yeah, and here's the problem: they can cut him, and no one cares. No one
Yeah.
cares. Paula Costa, whatever his name is, giving crap to Dana White. Okay, dude, go. We don't care. No
Yeah.
one cares. You're gone. Next. People are still going to
Yeah.
tune in for whoever the main event is, and we don't like. So Dana's got that stronghold. Go elsewhere. I mean, like I know we make fun of Bellator or whatever, but that's why those fighters are going there. It's more money. Like it's
They
more
get paid
money. It's better opportunities, and it may not be. I mean, I still think the level's still incredible, but it doesn't have the UFC letters. That's where
It doesn't, but if the Paul fights and these celebrity fights have shown us anything, you don't need that to make money and to do something in this sport. It's a
you need someone.
sport. You need headliners, and you need people that will pull in, that are willing to plop down $50. And just like my man Rosillo said on the pod after the fight with Simmons, he said, I could have found a worse way to spend $50. That wasn't that waste of a money,
No. Yeah, because they had other boxers, they had other fights on there, and look, in the end, when they're in the ring, it looked like Mike Tyson Punch Out. I mean, you got Logan looked huge, and then you got little Tyson or little Tyson, little Floyd next to him. So you're immediately entertained. You're immediately like, wow, look at can this young not as experienced boxer really beat this, go, and everyone's giving the Paul brothers crap for who they're fighting or whatever. I mean, you can't give them crap for fighting, one of the greats of all time, but most boxers that only have 1, 2, 3 fights are fighting 0-14 guys. I mean, they're fighting cans, where, I mean, for the most part, Jake has done that as well. Fighting Tyrone, I think, is definitely going to be a step up, but just because he's got so much power. But we'll see.
But I mean,
I'm in. I'm
even
entertained.
in just like the, like even though like I watch, I'm not an aficionado even compared to you, Blake, compared to other people who watch the sport a lot more than I do. But like
Right.
even at the end of that like first or second round when Paul got off that flurry against Mayweather, you could just tell how even though he's been, practicing and training and for 4 or 5 years, you could see how quickly it just turns into a fight in the White Castle parking lot in Broadway. Like, he's just throwing palms.
It's just a different level,
swing.
yeah.
I know,
Just swing as hard as you can. See what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertainment. It's
Yeah, they could definitely use it as a tool. Boxing could, because they had normal fights on there.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
I've always said it, UFC could do it.
Absolutely.
Put a couple celebrities in there. I don't know. I don't want to see bad fighting though.
No, but they could do like a seniors tour, like bring back.
Yeah,
Tito.
but I also don't want to see those guys get punched in the face anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Tito and Chuck Liddell fight again. It looks like two old men trying to play basketball. I mean, it's just I don't need that in my life. I'll go watch the young up and
It's like Jared
comers.
trying to post up and then talk shit about it on the pod.
Nunez sent a tweet to Kim Kardashian saying, "All right, Kim, let's go."
Oh, dude, that was
oh my god! Yeah, right. That's not even right.
Cash out.
All right. Well, this has been your Wednesday night Bill Simmons pod talk.
Yeah, no kidding. We finally left Joe Rogan alone.
Oh, let's talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
No, please don't.
I almost brought that up. Let's do Simmons versus Rogan.
Oh, please, it's totally different. It depends on what you're looking for.
It is. Yeah. Too different.
All right, I gotta go return a
6'9".
You have to return a